Do you play FC25 on the PC and are looking for the best settings possible for your PC for the game to run as smooth as possible? Well, you've clicked on the right video, so let's jump straight into it. Right, so welcome to the new FC25. I just wanted to say before the video starts, I am ill. So if I sound very rough, I do apologize. I've got a flu, I've got some kind of cold, I don't know. So a lot of people have been requesting this video because I've obviously made last year's FC24 settings video, and I've seen a lot of comments about when's the FC25 settings video, and I thought let's just get it out the way, let's do it right now and show you guys the best settings for FPS boost. What we're going to do is head straight to the top left, which is the cog wheel, and then click on settings, click on game settings, and obviously you can see here there's a display configuration which is hiding from my camera. You want to make sure you go to there, and in order to go there you basically press L1 or R1, and you want to head to display configuration. Now you're here. Welcome to the PC settings side of everything that you need to basically do and know. So the first up we have is resolution, which is 1920 by 1080. If you have a widescreen monitor, put it to the max, because buddy, this game is amazing, especially on such a widescreen. If you guys do have a widescreen, please change it to the best resolution possible. Struggling with frames, make sure it's like 1280 by 720, or just like try to play at a resolution that you guys could, benefit more frames from, because when it comes to PC games, it doesn't matter about how good it looks. As long as your frames are good, it's all good. Moving on to the next one, which is display mode. I can't really recommend you guys to do windowed borderless, because as you can see, the next thing is refresh rate, and it actually locks to 60. But if you guys do have a 144Hz monitor, 120Hz monitor, 260Hz monitor, or whatever Hertz monitor, make sure it's to the max. As you can see, mine's 144, so it's going to be 144. For those who are wondering why or how to get your 144 Hz, because I've got a DVI port from my computer to my monitor, it allows me to obviously maximize my frames. If you're using a HDMI port, sometimes it might not actually register your hertz for your monitor, which is very weird. So yeah, moving back to the display side of things, like I said, yeah, windowed borderless and windowed will just cap your refresh rate. So what you want to do is head to your control panel, and here you go. That's literally it. It should say here, if it's a 60, change that to straight to 144 Hz or 120 Hz, or the max refresh rate here, and then obviously restart your game and it should work. Moving on to the next one, which is a frame rate. It's all linked with obviously refresh rate. With your refresh rate, you need to make sure that you have the most amount of FPS. What I mean by this is that if you have a 60 Hz monitor, you need to make sure you have above 60 FPS. And as I have a 144 Hz monitor, I need to make sure that my frames are more than 144. The reason why I have no limit on FPS is because, as you can see, all the options are here, and there's no such thing as locking to 144 or locking my frame rate to 144. So that's why I keep it to no limit FPS. But if you're struggling with frames and whatnot, I'd recommend you guys locking your game to 60, 90, 120, depending on your refresh rate. If you have a 120 Hz monitor, just lock it there, 90, so on and so forth. Self-explanatory. The next setting also links to the refresh rate and the frame rate. This is basically the same thing I just mentioned, but it will just lock. So I have 144 Hz monitor, so it will lock my frames to 144 Hz. It will not go up, it will not go down, it will just lock straight to 144. And the reason why I have this off is because I want to make sure that I have the most FPS, so that my game is actually much more smoother than it usually should be. But the reason why I would turn this on, if I have a laptop that just struggles with FPS and frames, I need to make sure that no background programs are dropping my frames, etc. So that's why I would put this on. As I've got a beefy computer, I don't really need to turn this on. So yeah, if you have a mid to low range PC laptop, I'd recommend you guys turn this on. Now moving on to the dynamic resolution scale. Now I have been trying to figure this out. Even last year I didn't really understand what this was until I started using it on my laptop, and it will change the resolution scale depending on your monitor or depending on your output resolution. So if you have a Steam Deck, which I have right here, behind my water bottle, it will scale the output to my Steam Deck, so it will find or figure out the resolution for that setup, just to basically improve performance. The reason why I have it on is just obviously to improve performance, and as I want the best for the game. But you can also turn this off if you don't really see a difference. Let me know in the comments if you actually know what this does, because I would like to have your input personally. Next one, we have the cutscene quality is a full frame rate. So this full frame rate is your frame rate that you have here. So if you have it 60, if you have no limit, it will just make sure it's the best quality frame rate for your cutscenes. And I must say, it's so baby smooth. Like, I don't know what EA have cooked this year for PC, but honestly, unbelievable. Thank you, EA, for optimizing such a game that has been needed an optimization issue for so long. So thank you. Moving on to my next thing, and that's strand based hair. A lot of people are going to be crying that I've turned this off, but who cares about hair moving around? I'm bald, so I could not care less about hair moving around my screen, and it's just an extra hog of frames that you just kind of don't need. That's basically it. It says realistic hair shader, so what it basically is the hair basically waves quite a bit. Now you're probably wondering why I've got everything ultra. I just wanted to record stuff. If you did not watch my previous video, which was PC gameplay, that's why I have it on ultra. But I must say, this is my usual settings, which is, as you can see right here. There you go. That's literally all my settings. And the reason why I have it on low is because I don't need my game to be insane. I'll be honest, if you come from console and you're probably wondering like, oh my god, is it a big difference? There's not much of a difference when it comes to PC quality. Ultra is the best, and it is better than console. It will hog the crap out of your processor, and the reason why I'm saying it's hogging your processor is because it will work double or triple the times that it will actually be needed for. And what I'm trying to say is that you don't need to over process your processor, like resource into your processor when it doesn't need to do much work. Obviously people are going to be roasting me in the comments like, oh my god, you play on low, you're this, that, the other. I'm making sure I get the most frames. I've come from a background of playing Counter-Strike on a laptop to 30 FPS, so I know the lows and I know my highs, but I still prefer to play to have the maximum performance, to make sure I get the most frames, to make sure I get, you know, the extra edge when it comes to zero delay, etc. So yeah, this is my settings, but you guys can figure out yourself if you guys prefer having grass quality as high or quality for crowd. Like, it's up to you. Like, this is all personal preference. I just personally have this as this because I'm not really fussed of how my grass looks or how the crowd looks or the cloth quality. One thing that they recently added, or they have added, is the ambient collision quality, and I don't even know what this is. I'll be honest, someone put it in the comments in my other video about it, and I still don't know what it is. So please comment down below once again what this is, because I have it on low just because of frames. And yeah, motion blur, I have never turned on motion blur of a game, so I have it off because it's once again another frame hog and it's not really needed, especially for FIFA. I understand if it's Call of Duty and I understand if it's like Grand Theft Auto and all these other games, but for FIFA or for EFC, I really don't know why. So that's display configuration done and dusted. We're gonna now go to visual, and now you're probably wondering what else is there to boost your FPS. Well, my friends, there's quite a few more things that you need to tick off and on, and they are playstyles plus overhead indicators. If you would not like to see playstyle plus indicators on top of your players' heads or the evolution badges on top of your heads for players, turn this off. It's another extra hog for frames. You can get the most out of your frames here. Just make sure it's off. Moving on to the next one. If you do not like stats on your screen every 5 seconds, where it's like basically when you're winning, sometimes the stats come on the board where it's like on the floor, on the pitch, where it's like 80% winning, 5% losing, 10% draw. All of that waffle, I've just turned it off. Sorry, Hypermotion. You're doing an amazing job with statistics, but I don't need to know the probability of me winning. Like, that just gives me stress. So yeah, make sure this is off. That's how to boost your FPS. Make sure you get the most out of FC25 on the PC. Once again, shout out to EA for making an optimized game this year. You guys have killed it. Have a wonderful day. Take care. Subscribe if you haven't already. And peace.